Hey guys, I wanted to come on here to do a review of 90 Day Fiance Season 7, Episode 1. And this is the new season that just began. And so they have a bunch of new couples. And of course, as always with each one of the franchise, there's always some standout couples. And I'm going to make a couple of predictions on who those couples will be at the end of the video. Of course, people who have been watching know that I was doing the reviews and I stopped doing them for a little while, but now I'm back and I will be reviewing them. And if 90 Day Fiance has another part of their franchise coming out, I'll be reviewing that. We are in the fall season for shows. So if there are shows that you guys want me to watch and review, you can get into the comment section and let me know. Occasionally, I will be doing on-camera reviews as well. I'll try to do the majority of them, but it's not guaranteed. But I want to get into this because this first episode was really only showing, I believe, 4 of the couples. They had Tanya and Sinjin, they had Robert and Annie, they had Michael and Juliana, and then they had Emily and Sasha. So you have 4 of the couples that they're showing. Mangela and Michael are back on there. You have Blake and Jasmine, and then you have Anna and Marcel. Well, they did already show Anna or Marcel, but you also have Mike and Natalie, who are going to be on there, but they haven't showed their segments, so therefore I'm not going to talk about them. I'm actually going to talk about who is on there, and I'm going to start with Tanya and Sinjin. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who subscribed to me on Patreon and who continue to support via Patreon. If you want to become a patron and support, you can click the link in the description box and become a patron to support the channel. You can also support via PayPal or through Cash App, and the links to those will be there as well. If you choose to support via Patreon, you will get access to exclusive live streams, exclusive contents, and any other content that I put there that is not on YouTube. And again, thanks and a big shout out to everyone who already subscribed. Now, Tanya met Sinjin because she was actually headed to South Africa to meet up with a man that she had met on a dating app. She said that the man was rude and disrespectful. He didn't treat her like she wanted to be treated. So she abruptly got up and left. She went to a bar and she met Sinjin. And she mentioned in there that Sinjin is what she calls to be her mountain man because Tanya is mixed and confused, which we'll get into that shortly later. She basically thinks it's okay to dismiss what she pointed out as a apartheid related racist attitude that he has, because she mentioned that he grew up in South Africa. She mentioned the fact that they just ended the apartheid. She's the only quote unquote brown person, we'll get back to that later, that he's dated, and stated that he still holds a lot of the sentiments that a lot of South Africans who grew up in the apartheid, obviously the non-black ones, have. And she's working with him on coming out of that mentality. Now, this is a problem, and I noticed that on the Pillow Talk episode, they completely cut that part out of it, and we weren't allowed to see the other cast members' take on it. And we know that this is a network. We know that this is TLC. So even though this show is highly saturated with racial politics, we already know they're not going to focus on that, although your racial identity is a major part of your relationship. We already know that his mentality is a major part of their relationship. Now, I want to get into why I say she's confused. On Tanya's segment, Tanya said that she racially identifies as brown. Now, we saw that her mother was white, and she said that she is Nicaraguan, and we're going to assume that her father is a black Nicaraguan because we know that Nicaragua is a country. We know that it's not a race. So that would be the ethnicity. But because of her confusion and her lack of identity in who she is, which is probably accounting for her dating choices because clearly her black father is not there. She's obviously biracial. She's considering herself brown. That's probably part of the reason why she feels like it's okay to deal with this man who, based on his upbringing, has negative opinions of herself. But she's going to be living in the shed that's adjacent to the house with her mother. She sat there and talked to her mother about this relationship with him and talked about how much she missed him. She decided to drive from Connecticut to New York with her friends to meet up to get him because he's coming to America. They put in the K-1 visa process and they got approved. So Sinjin is coming to America. Now, the thing of it is this girl is also freaky because we saw that she went to a sex shop to get a number of different sex toys so that they could have spice in their relationship. And my thing of it is I'm all for spice in the relationship, but what I'm not for is meeting you in one physical condition and then when you come to America, you're in another one. Because did y'all see how his waistline looked like a whole glazed donut? It's like, that's not okay. You don't get to just put on weight and then think you're coming to America. If I met you and you're in shape as a bartender, then you need to stay that way. This isn't where you just get to put on weight and then your waistline becomes the inner tube simply because you just don't want to take care of yourself. If he's a mountain man, then he should be hiking and doing all of this other stuff. There's no reason for him to be out of shape. But in any event, I don't think their relationship is going to last. They did some clips and they showed that she is interested in having a child. We already know that child would have a tragic, confused identity in terms of his racial makeup as well. I'm pretty sure that when he gets mad at her, he's going to have some choice words for her. But I predict they may be one of the standout couples in the show. But I'm going to move on to Robert and Annie because Robert is so dusty. Now, Robert is 41. He's from Florida. And Annie is 30. She's in the Dominican Republic. And Robert has a child. He has a little boy from an interracial relationship that he was in which the woman chose to pack up all her stuff and leave him with the biracial kid and go on about her day. So now he's sitting here as a single father and he chose to look for another woman outside of the country and he met Annie, who Annie is very attractive, but I don't think this relationship is going to work just based on his mentality. Because did y'all see how he sat up there and said if she want a certain type of ring, she need to buy it herself? Now, I can tell you just by watching the show, the Dominican men think very differently than he does. So that's a situation that's not going to work anyway, because he has a dusty logic in terms of what he should be doing in a relationship. He's telling her that he's not going to get her an iPhone because it's expensive. Dude, do you not realize you can get an iPhone for free? Put her on a family plan. T-Mobile and Verizon are running ads for that. I saw them, so I know you saw them. They didn't say you can get a free iPhone on a family plan and everywhere but Florida. If you don't get out of here being cheap. And see, that's the thing. Men in our community, they like to divest to other groups of women, which, by the way, Dominican isn't a race. This is a Black Spanish-speaking woman who is culturally different from him. And based on her culture, I don't think they're going to last. They spent 8 hours together. That is nothing in terms of getting to know each other. He's already saying that he's cheap because rather than just flying to the Dominican Republic, he got on a cruise that stops in the Dominican Republic. So therefore, he only had 8 hours to spend with her. And then he's questioning whether it's all about the money. Or it's maybe because when she comes to the States, she knows she's going to need some way to communicate. Obviously, who wants to be without a phone? But he's sitting there telling her that he's not going to get her a phone. See, this is the thing. They want to go to these other races of women and think that they're going to treat them the way that they treat the women, the way that they treat us, and that somehow those other women are going to tolerate it because we're the ones with the flawed mentality, and that's not the case. The men are the ones with the flawed mentality, and that's probably why he got left with that child. I just don't think that they're going to work. I really don't. Then he goes out and buys her some lingerie, saying that he wants to do something good for her, but really he's getting it because he wants to look at her in the lingerie. Like, this whole situation is really just not gonna work. It really just isn't. I don't like, just his whole mentality is crazy. His kid is uncouth and ill-mannered. Kid doesn't even know how to act. the kid seems like it might be a little bit on the spectrum. So I think that he should probably look into that. But yeah, Robert as Dusty is not going to work. Anyway, moving on to Michael and Juliana. So Michael is 41. Juliana is 23. She's from Brazil. She's modeling. And really, to be honest, I don't have any problem with their relationship. He's paying for her because she's young and beautiful. And to me, that's how it should be. And she is really beautiful. She's too skinny as far as I'm concerned. But she is really pretty. But they met at a yacht party in Croatia. He made mention that it was him and a bunch of celebrities on there because he's in the wine business, so he's wealthy. He met her and he said it was an instant attraction. Is anybody surprised that he had an instant attraction to a 23-year-old Brazilian model? I don't think anybody is surprised there. Of course you did. So he claims they fell deeply in love when in reality he fell in love with her. She fell in love with the prospect of getting out of Brazil. The visa was denied initially. So, you know, he was a little disappointed. He then said he wanted to be with her, and because he couldn't get up and leave and go move to Brazil because he has children, he decided to apply for the K1 visa, which he did. So now he's actually going to go back to Brazil and see her while they wait to see whether she gets to come to America. But he also said that he's given her free range to his credit cards. And he doesn't expect her to want to be a stepmother. So to me, that seems like the ideal situation for someone that's 23 in exchange for being in a relationship with a 41-year-old out of shape man. Because, I mean, she should benefit from it. Wouldn't call her a gold digger. I would call her someone who's having an even exchange. He wants something from her. She wants something from him, obviously. And I think it's good that he gave her free range to his credit card. She's probably having to have sex with him, so she should be getting compensated from it. He seems realistic, and his ex-wife does too, because his ex-wife said she already knows that there's no way that he would even be able to meet her had it not been for his wealth and his status, because she's way out of his league, and she is. And so we'll see how this situation goes. We already know from Tim's situation that having your ex-wife ingratiated in your current relationship, it just really doesn't work. And I think in this situation, it might cause a rift in their friendship because she is so much younger and she is prettier. And I think Michael is going to want to hold on to her for that reason. So he'll probably let her get away with a lot of stuff, assuming that she's going to do a lot of stuff. But you guys let me know what you think about that. I'm going to move on to Emily and Sasha. Now, Emily is from Portland, Oregon, not Maine. Emily is the third wife with the third child that Sasha had. She's a Russian implant, and she went there to teach England after having a partying background. So she said that she was always used to partying and really getting it in, and she doesn't regret it, but she basically grew up and she went to Russia. She met a trainer because she wanted to get out and she wanted to meet some people, and she met Sasha, who has two other wives and two other children, and now she is the third, and she is insistent that they are going to work out. And as you guys saw, she was 4 days away from delivering that baby, and it sounds like when she has the baby, things go downhill because he is a serial marrier. Now, her family obviously doesn't like this situation, and they keep trying to tell her, well, if the other situations didn't work out, why would you expect this one to? But she's adamant that she's going to be the one and they're going to work out. And here's the thing. In some exceptional cases, that may be the case. They may just work out. But it's highly unlikely because there's something there if he can't make something work with the other women that he's married to. And I don't understand how he's going to maintain his marriage to other women when she's trying to get back to the U.S. and marry him, meaning he will be moving to the U.S. with her back in Portland. So how is that going to work with his wives and kids in Russia? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen there, but we shall see. It looks like in that episode she was ready to give birth, but, you know, whatever. Now, Anna and Marcel, this is Anna, the beekeeper with the 3 boys. She met him on an app. They're both beekeepers and she's happy about it. I can tell you guys already, I can predict that this is going to be the couple that I'm going to skip past because I don't care anything about her situation. Really, there's nothing here. She's a single mother with 3 kids, 3 boys, and she met this man in Turkey. She doesn't speak his language, he doesn't speak hers, but they're both beekeepers. In this episode, she actually went to the airport to go pick him up and they can't even understand each other. So I think that language barrier is, number one, going to make their situation boring, and number two, it's really going to be a complication in addition to her 3 boys in this situation. But it doesn't seem like they're going to work out if we go by some of the previews. And I know with TLC and the way that they edit, you can't always tell what's going to happen, but I just don't think they're going to work out. I don't even see a strong connection that they would have. Really, the only connection that they seem to have is that they're beekeepers, but I think that her children are going to get in the way of it, and I think the language barrier is going to be a huge issue. But you guys let me know. I don't really feel like I'm going to be talking about their situation because it just seems boring. But in addition to that, he's a Muslim and she's not, and she likes to drink alcohol. So there's a bunch of red flags there and issues. But anyway, the other couples have not been introduced. I would assume on next episode they will be, and at that time I will come on and talk about them. But I can already tell y'all, look, the way the black men that they choose for this show, I really feel like they do it purposely. I feel like they have a certain image that they want to project, because I swear all these men have a certain mentality and a certain look about them, but I'll get into that later. You guys get in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any other shows that you would like for me to review, because I am wanting to do more reviewing content this fall season because a lot of good shows are on. But let me know what you guys want me to review. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I'll see you in the next one.